It's been a while since I've made one of these videos, and I apologize because I have an entire free community that I am engaging with a whole lot. So if you want to see my face more, or if you just want to say, hey, what's going on? Definitely hang out with me. But today, what we're going to talk about is tools of the modern day financial advisor. I get a lot of people that ask me, hey, Don, what tech stack do you use? What do you use for financial planning and all that kind of stuff? How do you run your firm? And I think I'm going to do a reveal here. So real quick disclaimer, I'll be leaving a lot of notes in the show notes about my tech stack, more so than I'll go to in this video, because otherwise we will be here all day, because I run two businesses, my wealth management firm being one and my consulting firm being the other one. And there's just a lot. And I think the best way for you to get value out of this is for me to keep it high level, okay? Not to get really, really granular, because everybody's deal is gonna be different because you serve this type of client or this type of client, okay? And the scope of this video is not to answer every question about how to serve your clients. I just wanna give you some macro ideas on how to do this. So sit back. I don't know exactly how we're gonna do this. It's kind of stream of consciousness. And I think we're gonna have fun. So let's dive in. So I think the very, very, very crux of just about everything you do needs to have some type of CRM, customer relationship management system, or client relation management system, whatever your acronym you want to use. But the point is you got to be able to track somebody coming into your business and the journey they take along there while they are thinking about purchasing your products or after they purchase products, so that you can deliver on what you said you would do for them. So I use Pipedrive. I love Pipedrive. I've used a lot of different CRMs, and you're probably, as a financial advisor, you're probably thinking like, Pipedrive, really, Dominic? But again, remember, I run two businesses, so I use it for both businesses, but I found a way that makes it work for me with the kind of structure or hierarchy that I've configured inside of the system. How I use it is to track that client activity, right? I need to know when an email was sent, so I can go back in and see the email records of things that have been sent. I can see notes. I can see what they've purchased from me. So I can track, my from the time that a prospect comes in the door, to the time they purchase my service, and how many times that happens, so I can understand what my close rate is at certain points along the process. So I think it's table stakes for you to have their email address and maybe what they do for a living and their phone number. Yes, of course, many systems can do that, but you want to take it a level beyond, because that's just a glorified Rolodex. Do you want to be paying, $600 or $700 a year or whatever your system may cost just for that? Probably not. You can probably just do that inside of Google Contacts. But when you're thinking about workflows, you want to think about something that integrates into how you deliver your services. Now, tracking tasks and deliverables, right? So let's just say you bring a client in, or I bring a client in, and I work up a comprehensive financial plan for them. And I say, we need to do this, 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 this. And we got a list of 15 things to do over the next 12 months. Well, how are we tracking that? Where am I tracking that? How do I know what's being done, when it's being done, when it's due, whose responsibility it is? All that's very important, because at the end of the day, somebody's paid me their hard-earned money to deliver on that plan. So I actually use two systems for this. And the reason why I'm kind of beta testing, just so you know, I'm taking you inside the lab a little bit. I am beta testing this ability to invite clients to an internal system that I use called ClickUp. It's a container. It's a project container where I can, stage all the different things that I do for a client. If they're not in that system, they are in what is called Right Capital. That is my financial planning software. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to, financial planning software on this list of things. But here's the point. You've got to have a way that you track your clients, tasks and deliverables and the things that need to happen in order for them to reach some of these financial goals that you are planning with them. And this is the system that I like the most. So let's keep it moving. Speaking of financial plans, Right Capital again. So I think there's a lot of different ways to look at financial planning software, right? So at a very high level, and this is going down a rabbit trail just a little bit, but this will help you pick your software. So at the highest level, you have goal-based planning, right? Doesn't really concentrate on cash flow. It concentrates on what the client's goals are and how they're going to fund those goals based on, you know, income and all this other kind of stuff, and really returns of their portfolio, if they can meet that goal based on the returns of their portfolio. Then we have what is called cash flow planning, which is, if I don't have enough money in this particular month, does the plan have a deficit, right? And then you start to maybe have make a glide path, if you will, what, you know, years in the future look like based on the amount of cash flows, right? So one is more goal-based, one is more cash flow-based. Then you have what is kind of in the middle, where you're using both of those. This is the reason why I use Right Capital, because it allows for either or both. And in the real world, none of this stuff is perfect, by the way. People have goals that need to be funded, and they also need to consider the cash flow that they're making, because if they have years of unemployment or years of increase, you know, that's obviously going to change the goal, maybe speed it up or push it back, all this kind of stuff. So the point is, you want to have a software that's flexible, and it's a very cool software. I think relatively inexpensive. There's probably about 5 or 6 players in this field, and you can pick whoever you want. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to deliver on the type of plan your client is expecting for them. And so when it comes to taxes and estate and investments and cash flow management, retirement income planning, it hits all those pretty well. Now, granted, none of this stuff is going to be perfect, and there's going to have to be some of your own sauce nuance that goes into this planning process. Me specifically, I don't just put information to a plan and then spit out, you know, a bunch of pages that don't necessarily mean anything. I do a lot of writing inside of my plans of recommendations that I make up specifically for the clients. So it just depends on your style, but Right Capital is a good choice for me. Now, along with that, I have to add some things that make sense for my tech stack based on the way I plan. So with a focus on retirement income planning, the financial planning piece is big, but I also have to add tax planning, because again, if you're paying more than your fair share, or you're not keeping what you earn, then that's going to obviously change the amount of money that's at the end of the rainbow, if you will. So I use a tax planning software called Plan, which allows me to really simply look at somebody's tax situation from a macro standpoint, and then we can dive deep into different strategies that may save them money along the way. Every little bit helps when you're talking about a 20 or 30 year planning horizon. So that's what I incorporate. The essence of this is really taking a tax return, uploading it, and then having all these numbers kind of spit out to you, so you can kind of look at the different points or inflections where you can help the client plan a little bit better. And last but not least, I am very goal focused. I kind of think that, you know, clients come to me because they essentially have these things in their mind that they can or cannot articulate. That means how they want to use their money, right? Everybody's going to work, or, you know, trading their time and energy for financial capital that they can use and spend to enjoy their life, right? Not just for retirement. And so I would love for my clients to start living some of that life now, not just wait 40 years into the future to retire to do that. So in order to do that, though, there's an exercise that I've created, and I use a very simple system called Notion that I share a page with them, and I have them write all their goals down. I have some instructions for them to do how to do this, and we use those goals inside their financial plan, right? We'll just drag them on over and say, hey, I see you want to be able to travel to a new country every year starting in the next 5 years. How do we fund that goal? How can we incorporate that into your financial plan? So I use Notion for that. So that's pretty much my financial planning suite. Right Capital, Plan, and Notion is how I deliver on those financial plans, those comprehensive financial plans for clients. Are you enjoying this? Hopefully you are. Check out the link up there if you want to hop into a community of like-minded individuals talking about this kind of stuff and more. You can follow the hashtag TechStack to continue this discussion. There are so many things that I love to do. I am a techie, and this portion of Tech Suite or Tech Stack involves the automation portion, right? So for the longest, people thought I had like 2 or 3 people that work with me, but I was like, no, actually I don't. It's just me. But what I do is I use software very strategically. Way back in the day, I was reaching out to a bunch of medical sales professionals that traveled like 75% of the time. So when you start to think about the back and forth on, hey, what's a good day to meet? And they email you back and you email them back, and this whole tag thing, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do that. So I started using Calendly way back in the day. So there's a couple of different softwares out there, but Calendly, to me, I've been there with them for a long time, allows this seamless, hey, I'll just pick this particular date and I'll meet with you on that date. And it has my schedule and it integrates with my calendar. So if I already have something going on, that it blocks that time. And there's so many other things that you can do with that. I'll add in with that automation. I use Zapier, which is so cool. It is basically like, hey, if this particular thing happens in this application, do these things, do this one thing, do this second thing, do this third thing, do this fourth thing. And it's all automated. So that way, if a client books a calendar meeting with me and through Calendly, then what happens is it puts their name into my CRM system, into Pipedrive. It might send them an email that says, thank you for your interest in DJH Capital Management, do this next thing. And then it notifies me that they're doing this and puts the appointment on my calendar. So there's, you can do whatever you want with this, but my point is I've created something that works for me. So you got to be thinking, again, this all goes back to what is the workflow that you want with your clients? Like, how many meetings are you going to have before, you ask them to come aboard? Like, what is that process going to be? All that goes into what you're going to be picking. And that's the reason why I picked Calendly and Zapier to work together. All right, 2 more things and we're gonna bring this thing in for a landing. So this is real quick, and I don't know what other thing you would do. There's so many storage mechanisms and websites and I guess different softwares that you can use to do this. But for me, Google is where it is. It's Gmail is easy, G Drive is easy. Google Docs and Google Sheets, Google Forms, all this is really easy and free, for the most part until you get to a different, storage level. So I just kept it easy. You got to think again about my other complementary tools like Zapier. You want to think about things that integrate, all these, kind of like one-off fly-by-night softwares. I wasn't really a big fan of those, just because I wanted something more popular, something that everybody uses, something that easily integrates into my other, pieces of tech. So that's the reason why I use that for all my storage collections. Now, finally, the investment portion, right? So, when I, as a financial advisor, decided to do this, I knew I had a background in investment management. So this part may not apply to some people watching this video, because if you don't do the investment selection in-house, then a lot of these tools will be obsolete or unnecessary for you. But for me, when you're putting together portfolios and you're helping clients choose this investment manager over another investment manager, you need a couple things. You need somewhere to store their accounts when you open them up, and you also need the software to make the selection choices. And then you need something to report their performance, right? People want to know, like, okay, I put X amount of money with you, it's grown by this much, by this percentage, whatever. So all those tools kind of combine together in what I'm calling this investment selection tech stack, right? So I use a proprietary software made by Pershing LLC, which is a division of Bank of New York Mellon. It's called NetX 360. And so I can open up accounts for my clients. I can see, I can trade, I can, rebalance, I can do all that kind of stuff. We don't want to get too far into the weeds on that. Then to select those portfolios, I use a tool called Quanti, right? It's just a software that allows me to have the universe of investments out there to compare different statistical measures like Sharpe ratio and, all these. I don't want to get too far into that because then you're going to see how big a nerd I am. But anyways, this allows me to kind of project out, okay, and back test different portfolio ideas. Maybe, one investment manager has performed better over another one over a certain period of time that is invested in real estate, right? So I want to pick the best real estate investment manager for this client's portfolio. And then last but not least, I have to report all those results to someone in a nice, let's call it executive level type of report, right? That says, hey, this is the amount of money I gave to you, Dominique. These are the deposits I made. This is how much it's made. This is what your fees were. And this is what I ended with for percentage gain or loss of X, right? So Black Diamond does that for me. And it's a really, cool software that allows me to, like I said, produce that, to calculate the management fees that I charge on managing assets, and a lot of, really cool things. So that is, kind of what I would say the investment portion of what I do. And again, this may not apply to you if you're not going to be managing clients' assets. If you're not going to be doing that, there's a lot of different vendors that you can use to outsource that particular portion of the business. It just depends on you and your expertise. Oh, wow, that was a lot. So it's been a long time coming. I should have done this video a long time ago, but here we go. If you want to dive deeper on any of those subjects, you can definitely comment, definitely like this video, definitely share it. But the best thing to do if you want me to chime in on any of that and to get involved in discussion is to join JUMPSTART, the community for financial professionals, at www.jumpstartcoachinglab.com, and make sure you follow the hashtag TechStack. That's where we will be continuing this particular discussion. And if you're so inclined and you do want a closer bird's eye view on what I'm doing, how I'm using it, maybe how it can apply to what you want to do in financial services, you definitely want to get inside the Career Changer Blueprint. That is for aspiring financial professionals. For existing financial professionals, we have the Masterclass Coaching Lab. All these are going to allow you to see how I do it, how it can work for you, and what the implications are for you when it comes to doing this particular thing for the ideal client that you want to serve. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.